want to make you aware of some breaking news. The White House has released a transcript of US President Donald Trump's call with Ukraine's president, and it shows that he did ask Ukraine's president to investigate whether former Vice President Joe Biden shut down an investigation into a company where his son worked. That's according to a summary of the call released by the Trump administration. Let me quote from the transcript that was released. There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great, President Trump said in the call. That's reading direct there from that transcript provided by the Justice Department. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution, so if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me, he said. So repeated attempts to prod the Ukrainian president into investigating former US Vice President Joe Biden. That breaking news here. We're getting in touch with our correspondent Kimberly Halkett, who's on Capitol Hill for some live reaction. But in the meantime, let's get a report from Shihab Ratanzi with the background of all of this in Washington, D.C.
It's been long reported that Democratic House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi has been against impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. That has changed.
The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
Pelosi says 2 reasons convinced her to launch the inquiry: that President Trump was allegedly asking the Ukrainian president to investigate Democratic rival Joe Biden and his son, and that the White House then prevented a whistleblower's complaint about the president's request to reach Congress as required by law. Pelosi's putting aside her fear that an impeachment investigation would allow President Trump to mobilize his base with claims of another witch hunt. He maintains he's done nothing wrong and authorized the release of a transcript of his phone call with the Ukrainian President Zelensky. Shortly after Pelosi spoke, though, Trump tweeted this fundraising video ready to go, containing carefully curated sound bites from Democratic politicians suggesting they were attempting to subvert the will of the people.
If we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
It's time to stop this nonsense.
A message amplified by the Republican leader of the House.
I realize 2016 did not turn out the way Speaker Pelosi wanted it to happen, but she cannot change the laws of this Congress.
The exact details of the way forward for an impeachment inquiry remain murky, but Pelosi said it would involve the findings of the 6 inquiries already underway into the president's alleged wrongdoing. The announcement may take the pressure off the Democrats from their electoral base, increasingly angry about a lack of action against the president.
Now I think what you'll see from Democrats is the question, is this going to be a short process or a longer process? So a short process means we know what we need to know. We're not going to do a lot of investigating. We're not going to wait and turn over a lot of other stones before we have this vote in the House to impeach this guy. And then the Senate will either do or will do whatever it does or doesn't do. That's fine. But then by putting it behind Nancy Pelosi, all of those House candidates have said their piece, and now they can go on and talk about other issues and not be hounded about this.
The inquiry may also speed up some of the judicial attempts underway to get key information from Donald Trump and his administration that so far remains secret. Reports say Trump is determined he will not be the 3rd president in U.S. history to be impeached. And whatever the short-term political consequences, the opening of an inquiry doesn't mean Trump will eventually be convicted of high crimes and misdemeanors. Shihab Ratanzi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Let's bring in our White House correspondent then, Kimberly Halkett, who's on Capitol Hill. The president then says that this is all a garbage witch hunt, but the transcript, Kimberly, confirms that the president did ask Ukraine's leader to investigate Joe Biden. Not once, at least once.
Right, but what it doesn't confirm is the second part of the allegations against the president, which is that he was looking for a quid pro quo. In essence, that he was looking for an exchange for an investigation, he was holding back the promise of military aid. So on the one hand, what I think we're going to see here is the White House saying, look, this transcript shows it's not as incriminating as you suggest, and trying to play up that. But as you point out, it does show that the U.S. president was urging the president of Ukraine to employ an investigation against one of his political rivals. And that is what the Democrats here in the House of Representatives on Capitol Hill are going to be focusing on. This is what Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, said was the sort of turning point for those moderate Democrats who were on the fence about launching some sort of impeachment proceeding against the president. So what happens now? Well, the question becomes where this investigation will lead. We have 6 committees that are all now under one umbrella investigating the possibility of impeachment, but it comes down to a vote in the House of Representatives, and that has not yet been called. We also have to remember, for those who think that this is going to lead to President Trump immediately being removed from office, that's not a certainty either, because while the House of Representatives, which is controlled by Democrats, may favor impeaching the president, it is the Senate that has to vote to remove the president, and that is controlled by Republicans. So this is where things get a little bit unclear about not only the speed of how this is going to move, but whether ultimately it could lead to President Trump no longer being the president of the United States.
All right, Kimberly, many thanks indeed. White House correspondent Kimberly Halkett there live on Capitol Hill.